TitleMatchNetwork.com.
What was your relationship with Owen Hart?
When I was wrestling up around Calgary, Owen was just a little boy. So other than just being an ornery little asshole around you most of the time,
Right.
I never really got to know him until I was virtually out of the wrestling. I knew Brett, I knew Keith, I knew Bruce, I knew Smith, and all those guys were wrestling at the time I was around there. But Owen was the baby of the family. Later on, there's a story, I think you probably already heard it. He came to my house one night when I had all the guys over.
Barbecue.
The chili.
Right.
He took the insanity sauce and almost choked mankind.
Right.
So the following night, they were in Topeka, Kansas, and I went over to see him. I had a 250,000 volt stunt gun, and he's standing in the locker room with nothing on. I inserted it in his butt, squeezed it off, and all he could do was just shimmy and jerk until I released the trigger.
Right. So, yeah, I guess there's a lot of, everyone talks about your famous barbecues at your house and stuff like that.
Well, there's two things I could do in life: wrestle and cook.
Right.
And I don't know which order I was the best in, but yeah, I loved going to Calgary. I knew I was going to travel my ass off.
Right.
One of the worst trips on earth is you finish Regina and you head to Calgary, 570 some mile away. And every year at the Stampede days is when I most generally went up there.
Right.
They had a strike. All the breweries would have a strike. So you'd have to try to haul it back from Saskatoon
Right.
into Calgary, and they had liquor stops everywhere. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police are like the Gestapo. They don't need a reason to stop you. They know that about 10 carloads of wrestlers are going to be on that road that night, and they're going to get about 100 cases of beer out of that 10 carloads, and they did it every time.
Right.
Stu and the whole Hart family, to me, they just don't make them too much nicer than that family.
What was your relationship with the Dynamite Kid?
Dynamite first came to Canada. About the third year I was champion going up to the Calgary Stampede. He was a goofy little kid, goofy little guy, but a real nice guy. And if ever someone could have a son that didn't belong to him, Dynamite was like my son.
Right.
Everywhere I went, everything I did, he was right there. And became one of the most talented kids of his era. He was a tremendous talent. But again, personally to himself, he was his own worst enemy, just like Cactus. Dynamite was doing things that him and Benoit both got that big dive thing from
the diving headbutt to the floor. He
Swan
did
dive.
sometimes.
Yeah. I just don't have enough good things to say about him. He was just a hell of a nice guy.
How did others react the first time you did the diving headbutt from the top rope to the...
About like they did when they saw Cactus take the slam from there.
TitleMatchNetwork.com.